Hey everybody, Paul here, coming at you with your Crypto Coffee update. You may have noticed that my giant head isn't in the right hand side of the screen today, and that is because I am feeling really under the weather, so sorry about that guys, you're going to have to bear with me as we push through this Crypto Coffee update, giving you the best news, articles, and events happening in the world of crypto. And of course, to help me fight off whatever I'm struggling with, join me for that simultaneous sip. Little caffeine never hurt. Good stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and peruse through the news together. We have CryptoPanic open in front of you, which is a fantastic news aggregation website. You can actually look over here at the trending section, which you see on the right hand side of your page, and it gives you an idea of some of the most popular news and events happening in the crypto space over the last day or so. It even lets you know when it was posted. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the happenings. Ethereum Classic has been in the news for some not so great reasons. Turns out their largest development branch, ETC Dev, has run out of funding and is struggling to secure more, leading to a shutdown in operations. It wasn't really great how they carried this out. Essentially, it was kind of off the cuff and really sudden, not only to some members of the community, but especially to the wider crypto world at large, who really wasn't expecting this kind of development. While it could be reasonably ascertained that this is something to be potentially expected in a bear market this intense, it definitely came as a surprise at a really rough time during the collapse of Bitcoin's price. So you can see here the actual announcement from ETC Dev saying that they cannot continue to work in the current situation and has announced shutdown of our current activities. You can get more information here from the ETC Dev page, and of course, as usual, everything below in the description. I went ahead and pulled up another article, shows some of the faces of the individuals who were working on ETC Dev. They put in some great work. As said, it was the largest development branch, and this by no means is the end for Ethereum Classic. You can see here IOHK, Input Output Hong Kong, which is heavily related to Charles Hoskinson of Cardano, is actually working on their own Ethereum Classic development branch, along with ETC Co-op, ETC Labs, etc. So with that said, keep calm and build on is a lot of the message that's being put out by the remaining Ethereum Classic team. So this definitely is a highlighting point for how decentralized architecture works. This isn't necessarily the end of Ethereum Classic as stated. It just means that it's definitely a serious blow to the ability for the remaining individuals to roll out what's on the roadmap, given they're not going to have the help from what was the largest dev branch. Again, sorry if this is a little bit disjointed compared to my normal content. I feel like I'm kind of swimming in a fishbowl in terms of how my head is all fogged up. But with that said, you got the main gist of it, you got the ideas, and of course, as usual, this is part of the beauty of putting all the sources below so you guys can check behind me. So let's go ahead and move on to another big piece of news. Consensys is laying off 13% of their staff, which sounds like a huge amount, and it definitely is given how many people Consensys employs. However, after checking over the specifics of the situation, this could be a very good outcrop for Consensys, given the fact that they are looking to shift operations less from just pouring money into these kind of projects and expanding, more so trying to focus in on what projects can be the next big thing in terms of adoption, use case, and just general applicability to the layman user. You can see here Consensys told CoinDesk, excited as we are about Consensys 2.0, which is the new rollout, our first step in this direction has been a difficult one. We are streamlining several parts of the business, including Consensys solutions, spokes, and hub services, leading to a 13% reduction of mesh members. Projects will continue to be evaluated with rigor, as the cornerstone of Consensys 2.0 is technical excellence coupled with innovative blockchain business models. So, as stated, this is something that could potentially be seen as a normal development in business. After all, this is new technology. So seeing something like this occurring after a huge entity like Consensys had huge success in a bull market isn't too particularly surprising. Really, it seems that the timing of these events is more of the issue rather than the events themselves. So with that said, we'll keep an eye on this going forward. Consensys is definitely a huge figure in the field, funding studies, projects, and more. So with that said, they're definitely not going away anytime soon, especially as they pivot to this new business model. Next up, we have the SEC again delaying a decision on the Van Eck SolidX Bitcoin ETF, a move that was largely seen as expected by some market analysts. However, with that said, that's really all we have about it. It was just simply a delay, not enough information, and they're extending the review to February 27th, 2019. Again, given that this is a bear market, this news seemed to be kind of branded as what caused the recent Bitcoin price downturn. Recently we had a collapse to 3,600. There's all kinds of speculation of whether it will go lower or go higher, but really the technology is here to stay. And that goes to show that, you know, the government is definitely taking a serious look at this sort of thing. So let's go ahead and move on. The world's second largest stock exchange, Nasdaq, confirms plans to launch Bitcoin's futures, which again kind of drives home what was just stated, which is the technology is definitely here to stay, even if there is this price decline that can last, who knows, maybe another month, 3 months, 3 years. What do you guys think? Let me know below in the comments. So, with that said, Nasdaq is awaiting approval. Vice President of Nasdaq Media, Christinat. Oh, I'm even worse at names today, given my foggy head. But basically, they're waiting for approval, and once everything is situated from the CFTC, a popular 4-letter organization in the space, they're going to go ahead and list Bitcoin's futures, or Bitcoin futures rather. The Chicago Board of Exchange was the first entity to list Bitcoin futures all the way back in late 2017, I believe, just on the cusp of 2018. Came at a fantastic time and was largely heralded as a tool that will allow the Bitcoin bull run to continue. That clearly didn't happen, but nonetheless, what do you guys think? You think that this new Nasdaq Bitcoin futures rollout, could that be the catalyst that sparks off the next bull run? I don't really have any idea, because frankly, I don't trade futures, but what do you guys think? Next up, we have Facebook, everybody's favorite lizard person, Mark Zuckerberg. They're going to build the, quote, most used product in crypto, according to Morgan Creek. So that could be definitely something that could be applicable. After all, Facebook has had a love-hate relationship with cryptocurrencies, banning ads at one point, then allowing them back. This was during the huge ICO run-up in 2017. So kind of makes sense for Facebook needs to kind of cover all their bases and make sure that they're not complicit in some kind of false advertising or scams. But given that they're painting with such a broad brush, it definitely seems as though they've taken a step back and taken a bit of time to delve into the space and get an idea of how this new technology may or may not be applicable to its own business model. You could see definitely some skeptical voices, and Pompliano is betting on Facebook. This is simply because they're huge. After all, Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar company with expertise in all kinds of technology and hands everywhere. So reasonably, it would make sense for Facebook to eventually, similar to Fidelity and Amazon now, to roll out something to do with blockchain to see how it is applicable to their business model, potentially. So best of luck to Zuckerberg there, and that's all we have for the news and events coming out. Let's go ahead and take a look at conferences, which there are a pretty good amount for December 7th, Friday. We have the Hedge Business 4th Edition in Zurich, Switzerland, the Crypto Pro Miami Art Week in where else? Miami. Blockchain Reform 2018 is in Shanghai. Topics on Secure Architectures, or TOSAR 2018, is in Romania. Kangacrypt 2018 happening in Australia, and Information Security and Digital Forensics 2018, or ISDF, happening in Greece. That's all for Friday, December 7th. Saturday, December 8th, is having NAC3 Bitcoin and Blockchain Conference occurring in Las Vegas, and the Privacy Preserving Machine Learning Conference in Montreal. Next up, for Sunday, December 9th, we have the World Digital Assets Summit happening in San Francisco, and that's all we got for Sunday. With that said, thanks again for bearing with me, guys. I know I'm a little bit quieter and a little low energy compared to your normal Paul and Crypto Coffee update rollout, but with that said, time heals all wounds, and it definitely heals sickness as well. So with that said, I'll be back on my A-game here in the next couple days. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As said, links below in the description, and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of this kind of content. Thanks again. My name is Paul. We are Cryptide, and remember, the tide is rising. As is my temperature. Ugh.